When international observers contemplate the daily rhythms of metropolitan life within the United Kingdom, they often imagine a highly orderly, remarkably polite commuter landscape where everyone waits their turn in patient silence. They picture professional individuals navigating the historic streets of London or Manchester with impeccable emotional restraint, quietly sipping their tea while tolerating the standard delays of urban transport infrastructure. However, beneath this thin veneer of civilized metropolitan composure lies a highly volatile, deeply passionate subculture of urban cyclists who process the daily commute not as a journey, but as a high-stakes ideological crusade. And these dedicated two-wheeled warriors, frequently encased in aerodynamic fluorescent attire, view the painted lines of municipal bicycle lanes as sacred, inviolable sovereign territory that must be defended at absolute all cost. And this explosive territorial tension recently culminated in a magnificent, completely unhinged public showdown on a bustling British thoroughfare that has captured the absolute fascination of the global digital community. The entire saga unfolded on a busy afternoon when an ordinary delivery lorry, executing its standard logistical duties, temporarily obstructed a clearly designated, brightly painted bicycle lane on the side of the road. For the vast majority of ordinary, rational human beings navigating a metropolitan area, such a minor urban obstacle would merely prompt a subtle sigh of resignation and a gentle, brief steering maneuver to safely bypass the vehicle. But the gentleman at the center of this viral digital masterpiece was not an ordinary commuter, but rather a hyper-intense cycling purist whose emotional reservoir had officially reached its absolute boiling point. Faced with the profound existential insult of a commercial transport vehicle encroaching upon his dedicated transit corridor, he flatly refused to compromise his trajectory by simply riding around the metallic obstruction. Instead, fueling his pedals with a mixture of raw commuter righteousness and pure, unadulterated spite, he maintained his high-speed trajectory directly toward the rear of the stationary distribution vehicle. As fate would have it, the delivery driver had fully lowered the vehicle's hydraulic rear cargo ramp to the asphalt surface, creating a perfect, highly inviting metallic incline leading straight into the dark storage compartment. Without a single moment of hesitation or self-preservation, the unhinged cyclist stood up on his pedals, accelerated with spectacular intensity, and launched himself directly up the cargo ramp like a Hollywood stuntman. He breached the threshold of the commercial vehicle, rolling effortlessly past the mechanical loading zone and straight into the cavernous, dimly lit interior, where the vehicle's cargo was neatly stacked in cardboard containers. The delivery operator, who was quietly organizing packages in the shadows of his mobile workspace, was suddenly treated to the terrifying yet profoundly hilarious sight of a fully helmeted human being materializing out of thin air on a bicycle. Rather than realizing the absolute structural madness of entering a stranger's commercial vehicle uninvited, the cyclist enthusiast immediately launched into an incredibly aggressive and highly articulate lecture regarding municipal infrastructure layout. Standing inside the dark storage bay while straddling his mountain bike, he fiercely cross-examined the bewildered driver on the specific nuances of the British Highway Code, local traffic regulations, and the sacred rights of two-wheel travelers. And the sheer comedy of this subterranean confrontation is truly exquisite, as the delivery driver could only stand frozen in absolute open-mouthed bewilderment, wondering how his routine workday had transformed into an aggressive political debate inside a truck. Imagine the logistical confusion of being a professional courier attempting to distribute domestic goods to local businesses, only to find your private cargo hold hijacked by a furious man in lycra screaming about painted asphalt boundaries. The digital footage of this magnificent urban escalation naturally spread across social media like a literal wildfire, provoking an absolute avalanche of satirical commentary from viewers across the globe. And I obviously had to pick that topic. First of all, I used to live in London. I come and nowadays I live again in what we call the national bicycle capital of Germany. And of course, I took my bicycle with me when I moved to London. At that time, it was kind close to self-unaliving to cycle to work, but I did. But it was a really dangerous thing on London streets. But with that said, you know why I had to pick that topic. So until the next round.